Alright, so I've got another PSA return video here for the forum. This time, another July special. This one actually got back before the Pokemon special that I recorded a video for earlier. This one is Yu-Gi-Oh! Only. I'm highly superstitious, so of course I separate my submissions by game for sure, usually by language as well. I don't submit Japanese with English. This one has a little bit of English in it too, although it's majority Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh! The reason I didn't mind submitting some English here is because the English cards are not, in my opinion, 10 candidates. So I just didn't really care how they would be compared against Japanese. Japanese card stock's a little bit better, although these vintage cards are very hard to grade no matter what. Compared to Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are basically printed on tissue paper. They're very prone to scratching, very, very prone to corner wear because they have sharp corners. Very prone to indents and creases because their paper is very soft. So yeah, honestly a nightmare to grade. I collect 10s in Pokemon, but I collect 9s in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that should tell you something. Okay, let's get into it. Like I said, it's mostly Japanese, all very old, very vintage. I'll save the oldest cards for last because I think those are pretty cool. Not everyone has seen those cards before, so I'll show you those. But up first, we have the two English cards. First one is our lovely Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is an SDK North American English, but he's seen better days. Dog bite, run over with a truck. Got the PSA 2. I bought it in this condition. I paid like 80 bucks. I'm surprised this didn't get the 1. I'm fine with the 2. It's missing all 4 corners basically, so I'm surprised this didn't get the 1. It also does have some multiple severe creases. Deserves a 2. I buy these damaged or heavily played whenever I can for cheap because, you know, it's the first edition Charizard if I've ever seen one. This is like the iconic card that we all grew up with in first edition. I find the first edition ones are actually pretty hard to find. There's a metric ton of unlimited, just like with Pokemon. But the first edition ones are actually pretty scarce. I only have 4. And I look for them specifically. I mean, you can find them any day of the week, but compared to unlimited, it's night and day. So, got the 2. Just a fun one. Like I said, I probably paid like 80 bucks for that. Another Blue Eyes here. This one a little bit later, 2003. This is the VPT, but this is specifically BPT number 9. The later of the two Legend of Blue Eyes art tin promos. So it's not as nice as the original. A few things about this one that are different. The cardstock, or I should say like the coloring, since it's a normal monster, the coloring is a little bit lighter. You can actually see the difference right here. This is like first print 2002. It's a lot darker. And then this is the modern, I think it's even brighter these days, but this is kind of what they transitioned it to. I prefer the look of the darker, and I think collectors generally do as well. I think it looks really clean. It's also, you know, older, so that adds. There are more of these printed, I'm pretty sure, than the first round of tins, especially since they reissued this art for the tins again. But it's a vintage Secret Rare Blue Eyes PSA 9, so I really can't complain. I think I got this raw for, I don't know, 15 bucks, something like that. And it's about $150 in a 9, which is pretty awesome. I think that's a good price for a card like this. These cards are hard to grade, so yeah, pretty cool. I'm gonna just be holding on to all the Blue Eyes. Everybody loves Blue Eyes, but me especially, maybe. Okay, on to the vintage Japanese. I've been collecting Series 1, which I'll show you a little bit about Series 1 in a second. But I've been collecting Series 1. I'm trying to do a binder set, a mint, pack fresh binder set, if I can. For some of the holos, it's going to be pretty hard, like Dark Magician and stuff like that. That's a really expensive card, pack fresh, probably $1,000, if not more. So I don't know if I'll go that hard on those, but I'm also, you know, when I do get the holos pack fresh, if they're really nice, I send them a PSA instead. So if I get extras and they are really nice, I'll send them a PSA. So I've got some volume 5 through 7 here. First up, we have Kazujin. For those of you who know Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe those of you who don't, this is 1/3 of Gate Guardian. Super iconic. It's the tummy. This is probably the least cool of the 3, but, you know, it's a volume 5 PSA 10 super rare. Centering's not perfect on this 10. Centering on Yu-Gi-Oh, especially Vintage, is pretty bad. I think this card is still like very beautiful, so I'm not too mad about the 10. It's very hard to get these pack fresh. These packs are not cheap. Even this like Volume 5, these packs are not cheap. So it's very hard to get these cards graded in this high grade. I'm very pleased with the 10. Though I will admit, maybe with the centering, it's a bit of a weak one. Moving on, we got another Kazajin. This one's a little stronger. PSA 10. Again, really cool. And just hard to get. I love, so this is, I'll tell you a little bit about Series 1 for those of you who don't know. Series 1, the sets were numbered, and they were just either volume or booster. So you had 1 through 7, volume 1, booster 1, volume 2, booster 2. And these all came out in the span of like 12 months. Like really rapid fires, like every 3 or 4 weeks they had a new set coming out. They weren't huge. And the holos and rares were only in the volumes. The booster packs were all commons, so you buy booster 1 and you're just going to get commons. I think there was 1 booster or maybe 2 in the middle where there were some rares, but they were reprints. So yeah, I don't know what you're doing buying the boosters, but the commons were often unique to that set. So since I'm trying to collect all the cards mint, I'll be getting a lot of booster cards, but I have all the volume commons already, and a lot of the volume holos. This is volume 5. 1999, the 5th volume, obviously. A lot of the most iconic cards are in the first few volumes. And the things that are notable about Series 1, first is it has the original like card frame. Series 2 does as well. I think they changed it over in like 2001. They switched it to the more modern card frame, kind of like what you would see in the English cards. It kind of has that, like, you see the attack and defense are on the bottom line there, versus this one, they have their own little section. Takes up a lot of space, honestly. So I'm glad they changed it, especially with how many words are on modern Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But the other thing that's unique to Series 1 only is that it does not have the Seal of Anubis or the Eye of Anubis hologram sticker, which is, I guess, meant to prevent counterfeits. They didn't have that yet. You also don't have, at least in a lot of cards, maybe all of them, but you don't have the code that you put into the video games to, maybe it's just the holos. I think some of them do have it. I honestly have to check. But this one obviously doesn't have that, and it doesn't have like a set number at all. So this is like, there's not a lot to go on. It actually makes collecting the sets pretty difficult if you don't speak Japanese, which of course I don't. What am I supposed to do? Like, if I didn't know this was Kazijin, what am I gonna go off of, right? I have to like Google like wind, like it doesn't even say wind on this. I just have to know it's wind, or like you could see how many stars or attack and defense. Like, you'd have to like really Google around to try to figure out what this card is. So rest in peace to PSA's research and ID department. They're gonna be getting a lot more from me in the future. All right, I'll try to move on, take up a lot of time. Another Kazijin. This one's an 8. This one had some edge wear in one of the corners that I missed. Centering's not too bad, but it's also not great, so definitely worth 8. Probably just crack it out, throw it in the binder. Another 8 here, Sangha, the Thunder. This is the head of Gate Guardian. Definitely the coolest of the 3, in my opinion. Did get an 8 though. Really wanted a 10 on one of these because this is my favorite guy. I remember pulling one of these in Metal Raiders as a kid and just thinking that was the coolest thing. I've got another one, also PSA 8. I'll take a look at them if I think they're misgraded, or I don't think these were. I might send them back, but I'll probably just crack them and put them in a binder, because I mean, an 8, I don't know what that's worth. Probably like $30. Who knows? All right, on to an ultra rare. This one from Volume 6 now. Horn of Heaven, another MRD Metal Raiders iconic trap card. Cancels the summoning, I'm pretty sure. You have to pay life points. Card's really awesome. I remember pulling one of these too. This one's a 9. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's centering. Hard to know if that's from when they holdered it, but there may be a little edge wear. Maybe some corner wear. It's really mint. It's really clean. It's hard to get these cards like pack fresh. It's a 9. I might just keep it in there. I might also crack it out and put it in the binder. I'm not sure. All right, Shadow Ghoul now, Volume 6, super rare. Love this guy. It's just a rare in English. I do think this guy's really cool. I think he gains attack for cards in your graveyard or something like that. I can't remember. I just remember There's a card where he like comes out of the labyrinth wall, which is really sick. One of the bad guys used this dude. Pretty cool. Super rare in Japanese, which higher than the English rarity, which is attractive to me. And I also got one in a PSA 10, so pretty happy about that. Really like haunting art. Super spooky dude right there. All right, on to volume 7 now. We have our first ultra rare, Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. This one got an 8. This card actually saw some competitive play, mostly off the back of Thunder Dragon, this is 2 Thunder Dragons fused together. This card itself is not that strong, but the opportunity cost to play it was pretty low because Thunder Dragon was actually pretty good. Not on its own, but its effect was quite strong. Basically, you could use its effect to draw more copies of Thunder Dragon from your deck to your hand. Then you could discard those to various effects to get some advantage. So any way to like add card advantage for free was extremely powerful, and Thunder Dragon was a way to do that. So Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, pretty iconic card. Also a super rare in MRD, so ultra rare in Japanese is pretty cool. And we have another one. Actually, you can see I was wrong about the code. These have codes. But yeah, still no Anubis and no set symbol. This one's PSA 10. This is one of my favorite cards for Metal Raiders, and very happy to have this in a 10. This is the highlight, if not the second favorite card from the submission. I'll get to the other big one later. And then 2 more Series 1 cards. Barrel Dragon, another iconic MRD. This one's Volume 7 Ultra Rare. Really hard to see the name on that one. This is cool. Censored art in the English. In English, they're like techno-futury guns. Like they tried to make them look kind of magic. This is just straight up guns. You know, they had no qualms about showing the revolver barrels. He's got you know, the chamber right on his head. So cool that it's censored art. You know, unique art to Japan. Beautiful like black and green background, which also gets changed in English. So art's really different, which is a cool reason to collect this. And PSA 9 is a really high grade. This card's really clean. I think the centering is what held it back. You know, which is just be like that sometimes. So great card. And then last Series 1 card. This is Skull Guardian from Dark Ceremony Edition. This is Series 1, although it's one of the later releases for Series 1, and it's not like a booster pack per se. They were like a promotional pack, I guess. The only cards in the set were ritual monsters, and they were all super rare, I'm pretty sure, which this is super rare ritual monster. Though it is Series 1, no Anubis, and he just looks super cool. Like a robot guy, robot fiend guy, or whatever, with big swords as arms. You know, what's not to love? I don't think this really got, this took a long time to get released in English, like many years, I think. But it's an iconic card if you played like some of the older video games. Okay. So those are all the OCG and TCG cards. Now let's talk about Bandai. So I have some Bandai cards as well. This is the game that existed before the OCG and the TCG, back when Bandai had the license. They gave it a shot. Totally different game, although there are a lot of similarities. Got the Dark Magician here. The art, it resembles the art that would end up in the TCG and OCG in a lot of cases, but it's also like really unique. It's like very hand-drawn, very cartoonish. Definitely based on the anime, or sorry, excuse me, the manga, rather than the anime. This is PSA 9 first edition, or sorry, first generation card is a very hard card to grade. This is just a rare. Just has the gold text. No holofoil. Very hard to grade these cards. Just like vending, they were dispensed as vending cards, so you had to peel them. A lot of roller lines, a lot of chipping, a lot of centering issues, just like with vending. So if you collect vending, you know this card is no exception. The 9 is a really high grade for this. I think 10 is only pop 4, pop 5 right now. And a lot of the Bandai cards are similarly low pop. We did add a 10 to the pop with the submission. We did add a 10 to the pop, which is a big achievement for me. I love these cards. They don't get graded very often just because they're kind of niche, and they're also just very hard to grade. So you have a lot of like really low grades 6s and 7s show up all the time on eBay. Adding a 10 of any card to Bandai is pretty big achievement for me. So I'm just really happy to have this in my collection. Dark Magician, obviously super iconic. Hopefully one day I'll be able to add more 10s, but this is the 10. This is the other big card from this mission. All right, got a few more Bandai cards left to go, and then we'll be all done. Up next, we have Exodia, the Forbidden One. This one also just a rare. Of course, the other pieces were in the set too, though those were commons. And I don't know if you won the game if you got all 5 of them. Again, the rules are a lot different for this game. I don't really know how they work. I don't really know how the TCG works either, but this is obviously really iconic. You got Exodia, chillin', just like in the manga, and yeah, PSA 9 is very high grade for a card like this. All right, up next, our first holo. We have Black Skull Dragon, another MRD iconic monster. Yeah, first holo, PSA 9, very high grade. Again, I don't know what this card's really worth. It's probably worth like maybe 150, 200 bucks. It's a very niche product. Buying these cards raw, they're in good condition. They're usually like $30 to $50, and then there's not really a graded market. I mean, there's not a ton of demand. So I think they're, in my opinion, a little underrated, these grades, just because of how hard it is to grade them. But yeah, I scoured a lot of cards to get these in mint condition, and yeah, I got rewarded. This is a 9. I'm super happy to add this to my collection. I have the Metal Raiders 1-2. This is one of my favorite monster cards. I have the Metal Raiders first edition in PSA 10, which I also graded myself. Super thrilled. So very happy to add this. If this had the 10, oh man, it would be all over. Okay, this is the worst grade from submission, I guess, other than the Blue Eyes. We did get a 5. And this one, it's because they think there's an indent. Now, I think I know why. You can see at the top left of the holofoil, I don't know, there's kind of like a ridge. You see that? Now, I really can't tell if that's a warp in the card, or, oh, sorry about the motorcycles. If that's a warp in the card, or if that's just an artifact of the holofoil. I think it's an artifact of the holofoil, because there's actually a print line left to right that is like perfectly perpendicular with it. Now, I could see why they thought this was an indent, and gave it a 5, because there's a print line plus the indent. So I could see why they gave it a 5. I couldn't find what else was wrong with it. I could be missing something, but I'm not sure. I don't think this card's worth a 10. I don't think it's maybe really even worth a 9. Maybe an 8 is probably what I would have given this, but I can see why they gave it. You can see it. You can really see the line or whatever that is. It's just so straight. I don't know if that's a bend. Doesn't really matter. I think I'm gonna crack this puppy and put it in a binder. It is clean and beautiful. Look at that holo. Polymerization. Iconic. Make one of these guys with this. All right, a couple more cards here. We have Blue Eyes White Dragon, or I guess this is like Blue Eyes, yeah, Blue Eyes White Dragon 3-body connection. So this is before Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon existed. They had Blue Eyes White Dragon 3-body connection, and this is, kind of like VMAX Climax or whatever set they have now with Pokemon, where they have 4. They had 4 cards that you put them together. It's like Exodia, but for Blue Eyes. You put them together and it makes the full card. So this is the top right corner. I don't have the other bits. Graded this one because it was clean. I got it for like $8 or something in the United States, and I thought it was in pretty good condition. I even think the 8 might even be kind of rough. This is a very clean card. But anyway, really weird card. Just has like one open mouth Blue Eyes and like half of the name, no attack, like there's no information. Kind of a cool card, number 115 from the 3rd set. And then you can see what the full art is supposed to look like, because I have the promo as well. This is Blue Eyes White Dragon 3-body connection promo. These were peelable, and then but basically before the game went extinct, they printed some promo cards, and this is one of them. I think this is maybe the most common promo, but it's all 3 Blue Eyes connected via that guy, which is pretty scary looking. And yeah, 4,500 attack, 3,000 defense, just like Boy's Ultimate. And the coloring on this card is a little different from the other ones, which is, I think, is pretty interesting. The nameplate is like a little grayer, just something to note. But PSA 9 is an insane grade for this, so very pleased. It's such a cool card. I really like these Bandai cards. They are very 90s. The graphic design is extremely 90s, and I think they go very well with old back Japanese Pokemon, just like in a collection together, and that's why I started getting into them, because I just think it's a very unique thing. I think it'll always be pretty niche, but they really are the rookies. It's kind of like Cardass for Pokemon. It's like unique art, total like true rookie, printed before the game was out. Really special. I guess Cardass is 97, but I really think of it like a 97 Cardass. Although they're like a little bit more TCG like, because they do have attack and defense and all the elements of the game. Just the rules are different. Okay, so that's everything from Yu-Gi-Oh! Much smaller submission. I will have a July special for Japanese Pokemon coming soon, and I assume that will be of a lot more interest to the people on the forum. So I'll probably record a video of that, and yeah, I'll see you then.